Yeah, okay. We'll discuss about method overriding. Method overriding is nothing but the process of changing the implementation of parental method inside the child class. Okay, we'll change the implementation of parental method inside the child class. We call that process as method overriding. Okay, and to achieve that method overriding, we have some rules. We have to follow that. First rule is the relationship should be parent and child. That is the first rule. And second rule is method signature and method return type has to be same as parent. And third rule is access modifiers. Access modifier should be same as the parent or greater than that. Okay, we have to follow these three rules to achieve that method overriding. Okay, method overriding is nothing but changing the implementation of parental method inside the child class. We call that as method overriding. Okay, and this method overriding is an example for runtime polymorphism because it will check the method during the runtime. Okay, so it is an example for runtime polymorphism. Okay, now I'll give an example for that runtime method overriding so that you can understand it properly. I will share my screen. You can see this. You can see my screen, right? I have created a class with the name of animal. There I will create one class with the name of sound, and I will print something like animal make a sound. I just created one class and I am created one method and I'm implementing something. Okay, now as I told, okay, okay, as I told, to achieve method overriding we have to follow three rules, like relationship has to be parent and child, and method signature. Okay, this sound and like bracket is there. Now we call it as method signature and method return type. What the parent has and the child has to be same. Okay, it has to be same as parent. And access modifier, this is public is access modifier, right? So it has to be same as parent or greater than that. Okay, here the sound method as public. If it is private, we can have greater than that. Greater than that is public, right? So we can keep access modifiers same or greater than that. Okay, we have to follow these three rules to achieve method overriding. Okay, now I'll create another class to give a relationship. I'll give a name as dog, and I'm using extends keyword, and I'm extending animal. Okay, this is how we create a relationship, right? See, I'm created one class with the name of dog, and I'm using extends keyword so that what are all the methods which are present in animal, it will be inherited to this dog class. Okay, we are using extends class because we are inheriting class to class, so we are using extends keyword. Just 1 second. First rule is completed, like I make the relationship as parent and child. First is completed, right? Then to override, I will go here source. Manually we can do, or else we can do like this. This override, I'm overriding that sound method. Okay, and I will remove this, and I will give the implementation here. I'm changing the implementation here. Okay, just 1 second, guys. Here first I have created one class, and in that I have one method which is sound method. In that we have some implementation, and we are overriding by using to override, as I told, we have to follow three rules. First one is relationship has to be parent and child. So I have created another class, and I am extending that previous class which is animal. So first rule is the relationship has to be parent and child, right? So I created that, and I'm overriding that method. See here, method signature and method return type is the same, and access modifier is also same. So we are following three rules, and I'm overriding that method. Okay, then in the main method I have to create an object for this. Okay, for this I have to create an object with the reference name equal to new keyword. So I created an object for that. Okay. I created an object, and I'm with that reference name I'm calling that method, which is sound method. Okay, now if I run this, see, first the implementation in the sound method was animal makes a sound. So I'm overriding that in the child class, and I'm changing the implementation in the child class with like dog box. Okay, this is, we call it as method overriding. Okay, the process of changing the implementation of parental method inside the child class, we call it as method overriding. See, first the sound method uh, as the implementation, like makes a animal makes a sound, but I'm overriding that method, and I'm changing that implementation in the child class. Okay, this is what we call as method overriding. Okay, the process of changing the implementation of parental method inside the child class, we call it as method overriding. To achieve that, we have three rules. One is we have to make the relationship as parent and child. Say here I'm making, and the method return type, see, this is method return type and method signature. This has to be same as parent, which are same here, and the access modifiers, which are also which has to be same or greater than that, but here it is same. So we have to follow these three rules to achieve method overriding. Okay, this is about method overriding, and method overriding is an example for runtime polymorphism, because here I am creating an object for this donkey, and with that reference name I am calling. Okay, it will check at the compile time. Like using with the object, we are calling that method. Okay, this decision is made at the runtime. Okay, so that it is an example for runtime polymorphism. And as I told in the earlier classes, method overloading and constructor overloading, both are examples for compile time polymorphism, because based on the parameters what you pass, it will check at the compile time and give the output. So those constructor overloading and method overloading, those are examples for compile time polymorphism, and this method overriding is an example for runtime polymorphism, because like based on which method, which object you are calling that method, this decision is taken at the runtime. Okay, so this is an example for runtime polymorphism. You guys understand about method overriding? If you guys have any doubt, you can ask me, or else I'll go to the another concept, which is object class. Okay, this is about method overriding. If you guys have any doubt, you can ask me, or I will go to the another concept, which is object class. Guys, respond. Guys, understand about that method overriding, right? Okay. Okay, this is about method overriding. The next concept is object class. Okay. Okay, in Java, object class is a supermost class for every class. where we have created one class, right? Okay, this is the child of object class. Okay, object class is nothing but it is a supermost. Okay, in Java, object class is the supermost class for every class. Okay, whatever the class you create, it is a child of object class. Okay, and it is present in java.lang package. So you don't have to import that because compiler only automatically imports that class. Since it is from java.lang package, you don't have to import that. And it consists of some 11 methods, which are toString, get class, equals, notify all, wait with one argument which is long timeout, and wait with two arguments which is long timeout and in nanoseconds, clone method, finalize methods. Okay, since object is a class, so it consists of 11 methods. Like get class is used to get class method is used to get the class of the method. Then toString is used to, instead of printing the object address, to print the object values, we use that toString method. And hash code, like it will create an unique id. An equals method is used to compare two methods. If the two are equal, it will return true, or else it will return false. Then notify all, those are all the methods which will be discussed in threads. Okay, this is about object class. Okay, object class is nothing but it is a supermost class for every class. Whatever the class you create, it will be the child of that object class, and it is present in java.lang package. So by default, compiler adds extends object class in every object. So you can observe, we are not since it is this class is child of object class, we are not extending that object class. By default, compiler only extends that object class. Okay, this is about object class, which is a supermost class for every class. You guys understand about object class? Just tell me, or else I'll go to another concept. You guys understand that what is object class? It is the supermost class for every class. Whatever the class you create, it will be the child of that object class, and it is from java.lang package. So you don't have to import that. Should we go to the next topic? Guys, respond. Hello. Guys, do you understand? Can I go to the next topic, which is static? You guys heard about static keyword? Like in the modifiers, we discussed about static keyword. What is that static keyword? In modifiers, we discussed about static keyword. Yeah, which is a non-axis modifier, not an axis modifier. Okay, static is a non-axis modifier. Once we declare a static keyword, it can be shared among all objects. I told you earlier, right? Once we declare a static variable, it can be shared among all objects. Like an example, uh, every employee has different names. Okay, but company name is same for everyone, right? So if we declare a company name as static, it can be shared among all objects. Okay, this is about static, which is belongs to class, not for an object. Okay, static belongs to a class, not for an object. So instead of each object have its own copy, if we declare a static variable, all objects share the same variable. I will give an example so that you can understand that. So here I'm created a class with the name of employee. and I will create one data member as string name, which is non-static. I'm not using static keyword, so it is a non-static data member, and I'm creating a string company, and I'm initializing that with some name, and I will make this company as static. Okay, so it is given as a static. Once we declare, it can be shared among all objects. Okay, for different object name will be different. For company name, it will be same for all the objects. Okay, here I've created one string name which is non-static and string company which is static. So as I told, static keyword, once we declare, it can be shared among all objects. Okay, now I'll create a constructor. Constructor name has to be same as class name, so I'm creating on constructor, and I'm passing one argument which is string name. String, like constructor is used to create an object as well as it is used to initialize data member side. So I'm creating on constructor, I'm passing one argument which is string name. I'm using this dot name equal to name. Okay, this refers to current object. Okay, this dot name equal to name, and I will create one method. Okay, constructor will initialize those names, and in the method I will display that. That's it. So here I'm just doing whatever the constructor initializes those names, I'm just printing that, and I'm printing company. That's it in the void display method. Okay, now in the main method I'll create an object for employee, and in reference name equal to new keyword, then employee. As in the constructor we passed one argument, so we have to declare that. So I'm given one name which is Rahul, and I'm creating one object for Rahul, and I will create another object, and I will assign some name. Okay, here I've created two objects, which is one is Rahul and one is Anita, and I will call those methods, which is e1 dot display and e2 dot display. So if I now run this, see here name is changing, but the company name is same, because we given that company name as static. So if we once we declare the static variable, it can be shared among all objects, only the name is changing. Okay, so you can observe here. See, first when I've created a Rahul object, company name is same, Waldspear, and I've created another employee name which is Anita. See, for Anita also company name is Waldspear. So this is how the static member will work. Once we declare a static variable, it can be shared among all objects. Okay, and explain how this company name see, by display method we are printing that name, but in this class we are just calling any static method, no, because whenever the class loads, automatically static members will load into static area. I will just explain the later I will explain that how the static members and non-static members will be load and where it will load. I will explain that. For this example, just know, whenever the class loads, okay, this is static data member, right? Whenever the class loads, static members automatically loads. Okay, now this is about static data member. Okay, once we declare a static member, it can be shared among all objects. Okay, different for each object, which is name, but say company name same for all objects. Okay, this is how the static data memory will work. Okay, whenever the class loads, that static member automatically executes. We'll just explain that later. We are using some examples. This is about static data member. If you guys understand, I will just explain about non-static member. What's the difference between static data member and non-static member? I will explain. Okay, this is about static. Once we declare a static data member, it can be shared among all objects. Okay, we don't have to create each object for that. Once we declare a static, it can be shared among all objects. Okay, why we use static means the value should be common to all objects. Okay, so here company name has to be common for all the employees, right? So I'm making that as static, so that every employee's company name is same. Okay, and if we use a static data member, we can also save memory, right? Once we declare, we don't have to create again, right? So it will save the memory also. This is why we use static data members. Okay, this is about static data members. If you guys have understood, I will go to the next topic, which is non-static data members. Shall I give an example for non-static? Like, we'll see how the non-static data members will work. Guys, do you understand about that static data member? Shall I have to explain again? Do you guys understand, right? That static data member, how it works? Once we declare a static member, it can be shared among all objects. Shall I go to the next topic, which is non-static data member? Let's see how it will works with the code. Okay, shall I? Okay, okay, this is about static data member. Now I will give an example for non-static data member. Say I have created a class with the name of bank account. In the bank account, what will have some name and balance, right? So for that, I will be creating two data members, which is string name, and another one is int balance. Okay, I will make balance as non-static here. Okay, non-static variable. Now I'll create a constructor. The name of class, and I'm passing two arguments, which is string name, another one is int balance, and I'm using this refers to current object. I'm just initializing that, and this dot balance equal to balance. Okay, I've created one constructor, and I'm passing two arguments, one is string name and int balance, and I'm just storing that. That's it. And I will create one method with the name of deposit, and I'll pass one argument which is amount, and I will make balance plus equal to, you know about this operator, right? Plus equal to assignment operator. Okay, now like we can write like this also, or else we can write like this also, both are same. Okay, balance equal to balance plus amount. Okay, both are same. This is assignment operator, this is normally we can write like this. Okay, in both the ways we can write. I'm just created one method, I'm passing one argument which is int amount, I'm returning that balance. Okay, balance plus amount, I'm returning that balance, that's it. Okay, what will the method do? It will just performs a task, right? So I'm just depositing and I'm getting that balance, that's it. And I will create another method which is public void display, and I will print those methods here. Whatever the bank account name you will give, I'm just printing here, that's it. And I'm also printing the balance here, that's it. Okay, here I've created one class with the name of bank account, and I'm declaring two data members which is string name and in balance. I'm making in balance as non-static, and I've created one constructor with two arguments, string name and int balance, and I've created one method with the name of deposit. I'm passing one argument which is amount, and I'm returning that balance, that's it. And I've created one more method which is display. Whatever the name which is initialized by constructor, I'm just printing that. And what is the display, sorry, deposit method will return, I'm just printing that balance, that's it. Okay, now I will create a main method, and I will create multiple accounts or multiple objects. Bank account equal to new, and in the constructor we're passing two arguments. We created a parameterized constructor, so I have to declare those. I will give a name as Rahul, and I will make the balance as 2000. Okay, I will create another bank account object, new bank account, and I will make the bank account name as Anita, and I will make the balance as 1000. Okay, now for account 1 I will deposit some amount. Deposit some amount like around 500. Okay, now if I here I'm for account 1 or for Rahul account, I am depositing some 500, and I'm displaying that. And I'm printing the second account balance. account balance and name. Okay, here using that non-static data member, what will happens means we are depositing to account 1, so it will change modify the changes only in account 1, Rahul's account only. It won't affect the account 2. Okay, this is the difference between static and non-static. Okay, for on this, only the Rahul account balance is changing. It is not affecting the Anita's account. Okay, this is about non-static data member. As non-static member has a separate copy, it won't affect the other one. Whereas in static, once we declare, it can be shared among all objects, it will affect the all other objects. But as in non-static, whatever whatever the object we are doing a modifications, it will affect only that, it won't affect the another object. Okay, this is about non-static method. Like in this example, we are depositing some amounts to Rahul account, so rahul account is Rahul account only, the changes is happening. It is not affecting the account 2 or Anita's account, it is not affecting. Okay, this is why we use non-static data members in the bank accounts. Okay, this is the difference between static data members and non-static data members. Once the static data members is declared, it can be shared among all objects, but a non-static data member has a separate copy. Okay, now if you are here in this bank account example, if you are giving int balance as static, so it will make everyone's bank account as same. It is not possible, right? Everyone has different balance, so we are here we are using int balance as non-static, so that every object has its own copy. Okay, this is the difference between static data member and non-static data member, guys. You have to remember this. Once the static member is declared, it can be shared among all objects, and that static member is belongs to class. Okay, but this non-static data member, in this non-static data member, every object has its own copy, and it belongs to class, sorry, and it belongs to object. Okay, non-static members belongs to object and static members belongs to class. Okay, this is the difference. You guys have to remember this. You understand, right? Between static members and non-static members. Okay, this is the difference between static keyword and non-static keyword. What happens if we don't use a static keyword, what happens if we use a static keyword? You guys understand, right? First we have to understand the difference between static and non-static. If you guys have understood, I will go to another topic. You guys understand up to here? Like we discussed about today, method overriding object class, then the difference between static member and the non-static member. Okay, now we will go to the another topic. Like we will discuss about like static members and non-static members, how it will be loaded and where it will be loaded. Okay, here we discuss static and non-static, right? So once we create a static member, those static members, okay, these are static members, right? These static members are loaded into static area. Once we create a static members, it will be loaded into static area when the class is loaded. So that's the point I have told here. Okay, when the class loads, the static members will load automatically, and those non-static members, they are loaded into heap area when the object is created. See, when the bank account object is created, uh, at that time those non-static members are loaded into heap area. Okay, this is a point I have to explain that later earlier. Okay, these static members are, okay, this is a static member which are loaded into static area when the class is loaded. Whenever the class loads, automatically those static members are loaded, whereas non-static non-static members are loaded into heap area whenever the object is created. Whenever the object creates, those non-static members are loaded into heap area. Okay, this is a point you have to remember. And we have one more concept, which is static initializers and non-static initializers. Those static initializers executes before the main method. Okay, I will give an example. Just remember first, static initializers will execute before main method. Before the main method, static initializers will execute, whereas non-static initializers will execute before the constructor calls. Okay, this is the constructor, right? This is constructor, right? Okay, before this constructor calls, that non-static initializers will execute. Okay, this you have to remember. Like static initializers means which is a block of code which is executed when the class is loaded. A non-static initializers means uh, which is also a block of code which is executed when the object is created. Okay, this is about static initializers and non-static initializers. I've given an example so that you can understand clearly what is the syntax of that static initializer, non-static initializer. Okay, I'll give an example for that. So first I will create one static data member and non-static data member. Okay, string static value, and I will make this data member as static using a static keyword. Then I will make another data member. So here I have created two data members, and I'm giving one data member as static, another one is non-static. Okay, now I will create a static initializer. See how the syntax will look for that static initializer. Okay, I'm just using static keyword and flower bracket. Okay, in that flower bracket I will write the code. Okay, this is a syntax of static initializer. I will use a static keyword, flower bracket. In that I will write some code. So I've created one static initializer using static keyword. In the flower bracket I'm just printing something. Okay, and I will create one non-static initializer. Non-static initializer, we don't use that static keyword, that's it. Okay, if you use static keyword flower brackets, it is static initializer. If you don't use the static keyword, it is a non-static initializer, that's it. I will printing just non-static initializer, that's it. Okay, this is the syntax for static initializer and non-static initializer. Okay, and I will create two methods. One is static method and another one is non-static method. Public void public static void static method, and I will print like static method from package which is oops modifiers. I'm just printing something like that. Okay, I created one static method because I'm using static keyword, so that this method acts as static method. Okay, and I will create another method which is non-static. Create another method which is non-static. Okay, so here I've created two data members. One is static data member, another one is non-static data member, and we have created two. One is static initializer, another one is non-static initializer, and we have created two methods. One is static method, another one is non-static method. So as you know, to call those methods and data members, first the object creation is compulsory. So in the main method, I will create an object for that. Okay, now I'll explain how we can call those static members and non-static members in the static method. Okay, now we can directly call static members in the static method. Okay, like I will show how can we access like static value. Okay, this is the name we are given, right? Oh, caps V. Okay, see, this is a static data member, right? So in the static method we can access that directly, and we can also access the static method also directly. Okay, this is the static method, right? So we can access that directly. See, this is a static data member and this is a static method. This is static members, we can access directly in the static method. Now we will see non-static members can be accessed directly or not. Okay, now I'm accessing non-static member. Non-static value, we can't able to access that because those non-static members. Okay, to access in the static method, object creation is compulsory. You have to create an object. After that, with that reference name, we have to call those methods or data members. But for static members, we can access that directly. Okay, now I have to create an object for program 1, and using that reference name, I can able to access that non-static members. So I'm creating an object with that reference name, so I can access non-static. So like not like this. See, with that reference name, I can able to access that non-static data member. Also with that reference name only we can access that method also. Okay, this is what you have to remember. Okay, static members in the static method we can access directly, but non-static members in static method we have to create an object with that reference name we have to call. Okay, this is we have to remember. Okay, in the this is the static method, right? Public static void main. So in the static method, this is these two are static members, we can access that directly, but these are non-static members, right? For that we have to create an object, then with that reference name you have to call. Okay, this you have to remember. Now if I run this, see, first it is printing static value. See, as I told earlier, static initializers will execute before main method, I told you, right? So before the main method executes, the static initializers are executing. Guys, can you see? As I told, static initializers will execute before the main method. This is what happening here. Okay, before the main method starts executing, the static initializers are executing. Okay, whenever the class loads, those static members are executing. Okay, once this class loads, the static initializers are executing. Okay, before the main method, the static initializers are executing. After that, we are printing that static value. Okay, static value string, right? So the default value of string is null, so it is printing here null. Then we are calling the static method. The static method, what we are printing? Static method from oops modifiers. Okay, this is printing here. Okay, and the next line we are creating an object for program 1 with that reference name we are calling non-static value data member. So non-static value data members return type is int, right? So default value of int is 0. Before that, see, non-static initializers are executing. As I told, non-static initializers will be executed before the constructor calls. Okay, this is the constructor, right? Before the constructor calls, those non-static initializers will execute. Okay, those non-static initializers will execute before the constructor calls. Okay, that is what happening here. Non-static initializers is calling, after that object creation is happening. Then with that reference name we are calling non-static value. Non-static value return type is int, so default value of int is 0, so it is printing. And after that, we are with that reference name we are calling non-static method. So in the non-static method we are printing like non-static method from oops modifiers. That is what you are printing here. Okay, this is the flow, it works. As I told, static members are loaded into static area when the class is loaded. Okay, whenever the class loads, those static members are loaded into static area, and these static initializers will execute before the main method. Just have to remember that. Okay, static initializers executes before the main method. Okay, then non-static members are loaded into heap area when the object is created. Okay, when the object creates, those non-static members will be loaded into heap area. Then this non-static initializer executes before the constructor calls. Here, before the constructor calls, those non-static initializers will execute. Okay, here, see, before the constructor calls, those non-static initializers are executing. After that, object created, then with that reference name we are calling non-static value data member and those non-static method. Okay, this is the flow the Java runs. Okay, this you have to remember. Loading of members, static members and non-static members, how it will load and where it will load. And you have to remember this static initializer, it is a block of code which is executed when the class is loaded. Okay, this is about static initializer. A non-static initializer, it is also a block of code which is executed when the object is created. Whenever the object is created, that non-static initializer will execute. Okay, this is about static initializer and non-static initializer and loading of members. The next class will discuss about calling static and non-static members. In the same class, how can we call those static members and non-static members? In the different class, how can we call those static members and non-static members? We'll discuss in the next class about those concepts. And we have one more concept which is constructor calling. Those two topics we'll discuss tomorrow, and in the later classes we'll start OOPS concepts. Okay, before starting OOPS concept, you guys have to recall these things what I am teaching in last 3 to 4 classes, from starting from class to that constructor chaining, what I will discuss in the next class. You guys have to recall those things before starting OOPS concepts. You guys have to practice those things. Okay, you guys understand? Up to here, if you have any doubts you can ask me. Like today we discussed about method overriding, then the difference between static and non-static, like why we have to use static data member and why we have to use non-static data member. And we discussed about static initializer, non-static initializer, then loading of members. If you guys have any doubt regarding this, you can ask me, or else we will just wind up. Up to here, if you have any doubts you can ask me. Guys, respond.